Well, we had a very, I would say, acceptable bye week, last week in terms of the work and the things that we were able to do. A lot of opportunities for a lot of players to improve and get some repetitions on, for the young players especially, to be able to get closer to being able to play winning football. This is obviously the most challenging part of our season. We need everybody's energy. We need everybody's focus and intensity to prepare for the games, this game in particular especially, because this part of the season really defines who you are and defines you as a team and creates a total identity for the team that you are. So good preparation and focus is really important, and get lost in what's in front of you in terms of the challenges that we have, starting this year with a very, very good LSU team. LSU has gotten better as the season has gone on. Probably the worst thing that happened for all of us in the SEC is when they lost to Troy. They've really made a turnaround as a team, which I think speaks volumes of the coaching staff and the job that Ed Ogeron has done there to get the players to recenter, refocus, work on improving. They've been very productive since that time and playing very, very well as a team. This game has turned into a huge rivalry through the years since I've been here, especially, I guess, but probably even before that. But since 2007, I think both teams have been ranked in the top 20 in each one of these games that we've played, and I don't think this one's really any different. So LSU has done a great job of taking care of the ball this year on offense. They only have like 5 or 6 turnovers for the whole year. Offensively, they've done a great job of running the ball. They've got a great running back. The quarterback has been very efficient in his passing and how he runs the offense. They got a great receiver in number 7. Their defense is ranked nationally in a lot of categories and has played very well, and pretty typical sort of LSU team in terms of how they play and what they're doing very, very well. Always good on special teams because they have really good team speed. They've got really good returners, so they're, very, very good in the return game. So all around, I think this is probably the best team we played to this point in the season, especially the way they're playing right now, and this will be certainly the most challenging game that we've had to this point.
Start on the right with Chandler.
How have you seen their offense sort of evolve from kind of years past with Matt Canada? And he incorporates a lot of shifting pre-snap. What are the challenges of defending an offense like that?
Right. Well, I think that what you really want for the players is to be able to prepare well so that when the game comes, they're really focused on what they need to do and are not sort of all the shifts and motions and tackle over unbalanced and rocket motion and all that sort of eye candy, I call it, for a defensive player. Makes the guy not focus on his real keys and play fast, and remember that you got to play block protection, you got to tackle, you got to play the plays, you got to read your keys and do your job. So it is a little different, especially from anything that we've seen this year. But having a little extra time probably is a good thing when you play an offense like this, because there are a lot of multiples in terms of formations and motions and how the defensive players need to understand and adjust.
Come back inside with Michael.
What are some of the bigger differences you've seen in them since the Troy loss? How do they look different?
Well, they're just playing better. I mean, they're throwing and catching the ball better. They're blocking better. They've got more positive runs. They've got more explosive plays. Looks like the players are a lot more confident, not in what they're doing, what they're expected to do. They've got really good players, and they've gained confidence through this season, and they're playing really, really well right now. So, I mean, I'm not making any comparisons to early in the season, but I see a team that's improved dramatically, and I think statistically that, and relative to points scored, points allowed, yards per play, yards per carry when they're rushing, all those things have improved dramatically.
Back on the right side, Mark.
Just wondering how you saw Deshaun Hand and Josh Jacobs respond during their rehab throughout the bye week, and how they're looking this week.
Well, we haven't seen them this week yet. We're going to practice today for the first time, so both those guys will practice today, and we'll just have to go day to day with them and see how they progress and see how they actually, we feel like they responded well to treatment. They're both in position and cleared medically to be able to participate in practice. But it still comes down to how a player feels that he can functionally do his job, and we won't know that until we sort of progress through the week.
Back on the left side, Cecil.
Coach, after a few weeks of talking about media distraction and outside influence and so forth, the games in the LSU series have been so physical and so tough. Is it easier? Do the players seem more focused? Is it easier to get their attention when you've been through a series of games like that with a team?
Well, I think that's what you hope for. I think you hope that your team really understands what it takes to be more physical and play against a team who tries to be physical. How important it is to win on the line of scrimmage, how important it is to be well prepared and well focused in a game. And I think, again, that goes back to that energy deal. When you have the right kind of mental intensity, your energy is good, your focus is good, your preparation is good, you go into the game with a lot of confidence, and you have the right mindset to be physical. I think all those things are really important in a game like this. And for the players who have been here and played in this game before, they should really understand that.
Back over here to Charlie. Right.
Just how have you seen Hootie Jones progress and mature over the course of his career, not only just from the beginning, but since last season?
Hootie's done a marvelous job, especially this year, in terms of how he's played, the consistency that he's played with. I think that Hootie's improved every year that he's been here. I think now he has a lot better confidence in what to do, how to do it, why it's important to do it that way, and I think he plays faster because of it, and he's made more plays because of it. So we're really pleased with the way he's progressed through his career here and the way he's performing, right now for our defensive team.
Back on the left, Reiner.
How would you assess Bo Scarborough's play up until this point, and what do you think contributed to his surge at the end of last season?
Well, we have a lot of confidence in Bo. Bo has, we're not disappointed at all in what Bo's done to this point in the season. I think Bo is a guy that can certainly be a physical, dominant sort of player, and at times this year he has been that. And because Damian Harris has played extremely well, maybe he hadn't had quite the opportunities that he had a year ago. But I'm sure that at some point in time this season you'll see him sort of break out and show what he can do, and his presence will be felt, and we hope it's in each and every game from here on out that he'll make that contribution, and we know we have a lot of confidence in his ability to do that.
Down front with 20.
Coach, the playoff poll will come out on Tuesday. You guys will probably be #1 in it. Just how are you feeling about the poll and when it comes out and how that may
I could care less about the poll. I mean, what significance does a poll have right now? I mean, all we're talking about here is the challenge of our season and where are we going to be in the poll if we don't play well in the next 4 games. So I'm focusing on the next 4 games. I could care less about the poll. You won't see me wasting any time watching TV or watching who's 1, who's 2, and it really doesn't matter. What really matters is how you play the rest of the season, how you focus the rest of the season, how you stay focused the rest of the season. If our players think anything of it, then that could be a problem and an issue too. And, these are the things that we try to categorize as poison that you really don't want your players to be focusing on or thinking about. But I appreciate you asking so I could get this off my chest.
Only got a couple more right there. We'll start with Alex.
Last year's game, it seemed like LSU probably did the best of almost any team in defending Jalen and kind of his ability to scramble. I know he got the late touchdown, but really defending that. What do you see from that game, and what do you think you can kind of use to?
Well, I don't think anything that happened in that game probably is going to affect the outcome of this game. I think they did a really good job of lots of fires off the head of the slot, a lot of loading the box, trying to stop the run and make sure that Jalen couldn't pull the ball. And we probably expect a lot of the same things. Have we had other teams do that? I think we're more well equipped to handle things like that now, but it's going to come down to our ability to execute those things well in the game.
We'll wrap things up. You guys have been pretty liberal as far as rotating running backs this season. As you look ahead not only to the LSU game, but these Final Four, how much do you anticipate that paying off in terms of guys being a little bit fresher as opposed to how they might be otherwise?
Well, we're hopeful that it pays off, and we're hopeful that every one of our guys are sort of full strength, getting better, feeling more confident, ready for each game one at a time here as we play them down the stretch. And the SEC season really starts for us, and hopefully each one of these running backs who can make a significant contribution to our team are ready to play their best football of the year.
Thanks, Coach.